Alrighty, it's July the 2nd, 2026. It's Man Overboard with another video, just a vlog about where things are. So 9 days time, that's Saturday the 11th of July, I will have the consultation for the hairpiece. And I thought about this, and there's no way I'm going to back out. And the reason is I've never had hair since I was 17. It's going to be like an exhilaration. It's going to be exhilarating having hair for the first time. Well, maybe not 17. I was still thinning and balding then. Maybe even after I had the hair transplants at 19, I didn't have a full head coverage. It's going to be the full time I've got to have a full head coverage since about the age of, since about 17. And now I'm early 50s, so it's a big time between drinks. Sorry, that's just my car chime going off. Yeah, so I don't really want to back out. I do see, let's just say I see someone I pay, and when I told her what happened to me at that singles event that I went to, and that what happened to me 2 days afterward, and I said, I've listened to your advice, I'm going to take your advice and get a hairpiece, she actually clapped her hands. She actually clapped her hands and said, thank goodness you're coming to your senses. She said, your age, she said, you need a glow up in your early 50s to hit the dating market again if you want to be serious about dating ladies. And she said, well, she's in her, mid-late 30s herself, and she said to me, you'll need a glow up, and the best way to do it for you, she said, you've already got a fantastic body. She said, the next thing you can do, the best thing you can do is get the hairpiece. And she clapped her hands and smiled and said, oh, congratulations. She said, no, you can't back out of this. I said, no, I'm not going to back out. We had a little bit of an argument, unfortunately, before I left. I plan on seeing her again after I've got the hairpiece, just to show what it looks like. But yeah, I want to go back and see her again after I've got that hairpiece. So right now, if I might be able to turn the camera around the camera direction, or maybe not. Okay, but right now I'll describe myself. It's like a Norwood 7 bald with hair growing out the side and back. I've shaved off the transplanted part at the front, so it looks like a horseshoe rather than having that just grow wild. But I am wearing a black baseball cap. I'm living under a cap now since the guy at the hair system place, hairpiece place, told me not to shave it anymore because he's got to match the density and colour, and that's getting done in 9 days. So then it will be probably 2 to 3 weeks after that I'll have to keep living under a hat with a horseshoe Norwood 7 look, with a partly dark brown, partly grey hair growing out. So I'm living under a hat. I don't want to look like old man between now and then. I'm trying to hide it as much as I can, and only show myself with my hair to people I know already, not to strangers. I've been living under a hat since, so that's understandable. Now, there were a few other things. Yes, I got a new laptop on an end of financial year sale. The last day of the financial year, I managed to secure myself a new laptop. My old laptop was getting static from the battery and slowing itself down, so it was very hard to do recordings. And I might be able to do some more reaction videos now that I've got a new laptop. So that's a win. What did I want to say? Yeah, there were a few things. Yeah, the hairpiece. As I said, it's going to be a life change for me since I haven't had hair for so long. And even if it doesn't work, even if it doesn't give me the results I'm going to get, what I'm hoping to get, it'll still be worth it, because at least I can say at once time in my adult life I've actually lived with hair, with a hairline. So that'll be so good. I can't wait. I wanted to say something else on those lines. Yeah, I know that there are certain family members, or of a cohort of my family, that think I need to see someone starting with a P. I don't really care what they say. I'm just going to go ahead with it anyway. They don't live in my shoes, and quite frankly, I don't believe I need to see a P, that person starting with the P. I don't do anything. I don't say anything differently. I just socialise normally like my mates. But and I'm around my mates when I socialise, and I can see that I'm not saying or doing anything differently, not with my body language, not with my tone, not with what I say. And women are just choosing them and not deciding, or well, they're not choosing them. There are a few of my mates that are single, well, not being chosen, but they're at least getting attention, whereas I'm not. So the attention would be nice from women, at least getting an audition past that first step, which my mates seem to get. My mates with who are a bit taller with full head hair, and I don't get. That's another thing. When I get the hair system and I go out socially to singles events and places, out and about, I'm going to get, I've currently got a pair of 3-inch elevation shoes. So I'm 5'6.5". It should take me up to about 5'9.5". However, the current elevation shoes, they're a little bit old. They're an older style. And the base where the build-up is starting to crack. So there are pieces that come in. It's like having stones in your shoe. So it's very uncomfortable. I'm going to order another 3-inch heel in my shoe size online. A nice stylish pair that I can get dressed up in, either with black pants or black jeans, so they blend in. And I'll have a full head of hair, 5'9.5", around between 5'9" and 5'10". And yeah, I want to wear I want to try and get some new contacts that correct for both my short and long-sightedness. If I can't, I'll just get the dailies for for short-sighted. So when I go out, I'll be able to, once I get out of my car, I'll be able to pop them in so I don't have to drive with a blurry odometer and digital speedometer and the digital display being blurred for long-sightedness. And I'll put it on and I'll just go to the function. I'll have to not look much at my phone or make it big to look at it up close, but I plan on wearing contacts now and maybe some stage as well, if money permits, and that could be a big permit because at the moment we're all living in hard financial times, though I do have a lot saved. I want to check out teeth veneers and see how much veneers would cost me, because I have been grinding my teeth for a few years and they are looking smaller. So when I smile, you barely see my top teeth. It looks a bit funny, weird, dare I say creepy. But at some stage that'll be the last move, to get some veneers. They're all straight. I had orthodontics when I was young and they're in a good line. They've just been shredded down due to grinding. And look, I try to sleep with that piece that they made for my teeth, but I've done it a few times, but I just can't get used to it. It's very uncomfortable. I've had it for a few years. I tend to not sleep with it anymore. And getting on the topic of being uncomfortable, sleeping with the hair system and wearing the hair system. Like I know guys who've known other guys who've worn it, and some guy who's an acquaintance, he knows another acquaintance who's actually, rest in peace, he passed away from a drug overdose. I think it was a drug overdose a couple of years back. He used to go out and he used to go, "Man overboard, just get him to wear a hairpiece. Just get him wearing a hairpiece. He can't look like that." That was back in my mid-20s, late 20s, when we were going out, and women in those ages, they're a little bit more judgmental. Not to say they're not judgmental now, they still are, but they can be very harsh in their 20s when they look at a man's appearance. And I went in with a comb over and just a shaved head eventually, but it was not enough. Because look, I've got these transplant FUT scars on the back of my head, and to be honest, I am self-conscious of them. People tell me, "Oh, look, just accept you for you." This is what my family tell me as well, my cousin and other people. Some people, they tell me, "You just accept you for you, and you'll brighten up if you accept you for you." People will see you're glowing because you've accepted yourself as you are, and they'll accept you likewise, and they'll give you time and they'll treat you well. But you know what? I've done it for years, and I was never self-conscious, especially when I first shaved my head with those scars and with the transplanted hairs at the front, which grow back into an unnatural balding pattern. I was really never self-conscious about it. And I was actually quite happy to sport. When I first shaved my head, it was liberating, I found. And I had a new lease of life. However, it just seemed that apart from my non-intimate platonic or semi-platonic girlfriend at the time, who was basically bipolar, I didn't really get that much different treatment from people. Either people at work, maybe they said, "Oh, good on you, looks much better," and that's about it. With the ladies, I didn't get much different treatment, to be honest. A little bit here or there. I mean, I did manage to meet another girl down the line, but it was totally platonic. There was no intimacy, and it didn't last. It lasted almost a year, and I really didn't. I was really, I was trying to see, other girls on the side because I was getting no action, and I was 33, 34 at the time. So yeah, that was the last relationship I'd been in, and it was platonic with basically zero intimacy apart from kissing. Back to the discomfort thing. People are trying to tell me, that hair system that goes on your head, it's going to be very uncomfortable. But then again, the guy he heard it from was wearing a hair system back in the mid-90s. So I guess the technology's changed. They are breathable now. And the guy who gave me the consult says they want to give me a breathable one, which is the one I prefer. So it should hopefully be not as uncomfortable. But you know what? Even if it is uncomfortable, I wear a hat sometimes. Hats are not comfortable. They sometimes itch my scalp. I sometimes have to itch it over the hat. Sometimes I have to readjust the hat. It's no different, really, when you think about it. Look, I know you can sweat under hats. You can sweat under the hair system, I've been told. You can always, they're going to teach me how to maintain it and maintain my scalp and reapply it and take it off at home. That's part of the deal with the clinic. I'll go in for my first consult. They'll do it themselves. After they do that, they're going to send me back instructions and I'll learn how to do it at home. I might do alternate visits, like one at home, one at the salon, one at home, one at the hairpiece salon, etc., etc. Just alternate till I get the hang of it. I can do it all at home. So the uncomfortable part, look, I'm willing to wear it because, look, I've never ever had full head of hair since my late teens. So even if it's just a little while and I find it so uncomfortable that I never want to wear it again, that's fine. I'll shave it at my head again, that's fine. I just want to know what it's like being treated with a man with a full head of hair, especially a man with a full head of hair at my height, which is about 5'6.5", just short of 5'7". I've never had that. Now, people tell me, oh, no, it's not your bald. It's not because you're bald. You're just not, you're not confident enough. You haven't accepted it, blah, blah, blah. When you accept it and you're confident with it, they'll accept you, which I was for a while. But when I didn't see the acceptance flowing back my way, I lost the confidence again. So I needed to do something. This is what I'm going to do. The hairpiece. And look, let's be honest. I look around, right? I look around. I watch men in society, right? When I go out, I look at couples. I saw a couple the other day. The guy was about a 5. The girl was about a 2. She was grossly overweight. He was an average-looking man, bang on average. Guys are having to date down nowadays. Unfortunately, the days of dating out of your league as a man, punching above your weight, kind of tend to be gone unless you've got a stack full of money, and even then it may not be a sexual relationship. But yeah, the guys I see who look like me, the guys who are thin, on the thin side. Look, I'm lean, muscular, so I'm lean. I wouldn't say thin, I'm lean, short and bald. Rarely do I ever see them with partners, especially if they're on the single scene. They're striking out. And the ones I do see are married, and I tend to believe they've either been married for other hidden advantages like the mullah, or it could be that they met them before they were bald, and they could be school sweethearts or uni sweethearts before they went bald. When I went bald prematurely, there was no school sweetheart and there were no uni sweethearts. I went bald, I didn't grow, and I was very skinny back then in the prime of my life. And that's basically, I know that is basically why I missed out. And women will tell me, no, they will take a man like that. No, they don't. And I watch this daily. I go to singles events. I see blokes like me. I look for wedding rings on single man's fingers, on men's fingers who look like me, and rarely do I ever see a wedding ring. Rarely. The bald look, the shaved bald look, the short, thin guy, the 5'6" around my height, short, thin guy with the shaved bald look. I rarely see a wedding ring finger on those guys. And if I do, as I said, it's probably I wouldn't say women are just choosing them from what I'm seeing at functions and events. Women don't choose these type of guys when they're single. They've chose them either before they're bald or when they're very, very young before they went bald, and they were in schools, like sweethearts from school or uni. That's all I got to say with it. And the women might be loyal at that case, that they stick with these men, despite these men losing their attractiveness, physical attractiveness. Final two things I wanted to say were about that function that I went to, that singles event, that night that I spoke about in a video or two ago. I think it might have been a couple of videos ago. There's two things. The first thing is there was a girl who gave me her back, the one who gave me her back. Her name also began, there were two girls. She was A-N, or they were both A-N. One was A-N-A, the other one was A-N-N. Okay, so the one who gave me her back was A-N-A. And A-N-A gave me her back when I went to sit next to her and talk to her. She turned her back on me and she started talking to her friend next to her, the other girl next to her, even though the other girl was painfully shy. What I noticed when I was talking to the other girl, the A-N-N girl, the one that I was talking to for 45 to 50 minutes, while I was talking to her, what I noticed is that she was looking at me like, what is that girl accepting this guy's conversation for, that she's giving him, that's such a pretty girl, the most attractive girl here, talking to him for 45 minutes. She was looking bemused that she wouldn't give me an audition yet. The good-looking one did. The most attractive one did. My mate, I saw my mate, he was in that group, he was talking to her. So my mate who came with me, I had two mates there. One of my mates was in that group and he was sitting next to her, and at times he was talking to her. I dropped into the airport a couple of weeks ago, and he told me in confidence, he said, so A-N-A, girl A-N-A, who he was talking to in the group, told him this. She said, and I'll kid you not, this girl in looks is probably on the attractiveness scale, she's in the bottom 20% of women. And I won't make this up. She's not in shape, she's overweight, she hasn't got a pretty face, and although her hair's not short, her hair's in a bob type, just a little bit longer than a bob. Her eyes are just stock standard. She's in what I'd say, in terms of PA, physical attractiveness, she'd be in the bottom 20% of women. She actually told him this. She said, I've actually been on Tinder. She said to him, I've been on Tinder for about 7 years now, and I can't find a man I'm looking for. And he asked her, and he told me this in the car, he asked her, well, what are you looking for? She said, well, I'm looking for a good-looking tall man. And he said, all right, maybe you need to lower your standards. Apparently he told her this. And she says, I know. It's just that I'm a very, very choosy woman. Here's a woman who physically not men would want to choose, not men would want to settle with, right? So what business does she have going on Tinder and holding out for 7 years, waiting for Chad, waiting for her diamond in the rough, her Chad, not diamond in the rough, her gem on the top of the gold mine to just suddenly glow and appear and appear on her screen and start messaging her? What hope does she have being, in my view, a bottom 20 percentile woman? And my mate in the car told me exactly the same thing. He said, oh, she's over her head. She's not going to get what she wants, and that's why she's going to remain single. I said, mate, you're 100% right. I couldn't have said it any better. So that was the girl who gave me her back. Sorry, there's a bit of a cement mixer going past, as you can see there. Now, the girl who I was talking to for 50 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes, A-double-N, the first three letters of her name, A-double-N, and they're not the only letters. A-double-N was talking to me for 45, 50 minutes, and when I went to ask her for a number at the end of the event, there were two things that happened, right? So she was around the other girl that she was friendly there with, so they were there together, and I asked her out in front of her friend. I asked her on a date, like to meet up at a future time, if I could get her details and meet up with her halfway between her house and my house. I'd organise it. We'd go for drinks at a venue there. I'd figure out what venue it is, and we could meet halfway. And then she said, no, sorry, I haven't got the time to date yet. The singles event, the invite said singles who are ready to date only. So obviously she wasn't ready to date. Not any of the guys there, not even me. And she gave me a conversation for 50 minutes. She didn't do that to any other guy there, and I'll congratulate her for that and applaud her for that. But, yeah, so two things. One, she was around her friend, the other friend. So, and two, I asked her, I said, look, I'll organise the drinks, I'll meet you halfway, and I'll message you and we can go out. I was speaking to a male dating coach. Now, his name will remain anonymous on here. I actually spoke, a male dating coach I spoke to about this. And this is what he told me. He said, you made 2 big errors there. She was never going to go out with you. I said, oh yeah, please enlighten me why, oh male dating coach. He said this. This is the last thing I'll say before I wrap up the video. He said this. He said, first things first, you need to isolate her away from her friend in private before you ask the girl out. She's going to feel very much under pressure and trying to prove to her friend that she's better than you, even though she was speaking for so long, and her friend was there even watching our conversation and chiming in for a bit. But he said to me, he said, you needed to get her in isolation, not ask her out, A, in front of her friend, right? In case that she's trying to prove to her friend that she's better than you, which a lot of women I know do when they're put under that circumstance and situation. The friend has to approve of you as well. If she doesn't, they'll say no. The second thing he said really bemused me. Now, Lady ANN, who spoke to me, there's a sports car going past her. Hang on. No, it's all right. They're going the other way. So ANN, she told me, when she told me, I'm sorry, I don't have time to date you. I've got the kids, the 6-year-old autistic boy and the 8-year-old daughter. He told me this. He said, I said, look, he asked me how old. I said, she's 41. He said, no, you don't organise the date. I said, what do you mean? He said, you just go, give her your phone. This is what he said. Give her your phone. Get your number pad ready with your phone book saved to save. He says, hey, ANN. He said, you should have told her this. Hey, ANN, and give her your phone. Just type your number in my phone. Put your number in my phone. That's all he said. That's what he said I should have done. That's all. No arrangement, no suggestion of arrangement, no nothing. He said, you got to take it a step at a time. Women love being on the phone. You'll need to text and get to ask them out by text over the phone. Play games with them over the phone and ask her out by text over the phone, because women like logical steps. They don't like to be taken from A to C. Not even a 41-year-old with kids. He said, no, they don't like to be taken from A to C or D straight away. They like to go in logical order. Take them from A to B, flirt with them on the phone, get them used to being with you on the phone, send them a voice memo, do a FaceTime with them, and then plan something on the phone or over FaceTime or via voice memo. Anyway, that's where he thinks I stuffed up with her. I don't know what your thoughts are. I just think she was... I don't think that was the problem. I think she's too mature for that at 41. I think the problem was maybe I asked her out in front of a friend and she didn't want to embarrass herself, or she wanted to prove herself to my friend that she was above me and could reject me because I was out of her league in terms of physical attractiveness. And maybe just in the whole, she was, she wasn't interested in any of the guys that night because she wasn't talking to them. So I went and had the balls to talk to her. So she thought, yeah, I'll give this guy a chance, have a bit of a chat with a man, look like I'm making an effort. And she passed her time, and her friend and her passed her time with me, but they weren't really interested. So that's where I'm going to leave the video, and hopefully we'll speak soon. And the 11th of July is when I go for my colour and density consult, and they're going to order the hairpiece in, and I'll pay the deposit of the first $400 for it. So stay tuned, and there may be, with a new laptop, as I said before, there may be some reaction videos coming to look forward to. Man overboard, wishing you a fantastic day.